Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the dumpster fire that is G4TV. That's right, they're back in zombified form and they're acting like it's still 2016.
Now, we've been wanting to do this video for a couple days now, but we actually have people that are, in positions to give us information, and we were waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah, so before we get into the G4 debacle and what's going on with that, again, this is going to be a bird's eye view. I know that there are a lot of people out there that for some reasons, like every damn thing they do, they're doing videos on it. The long and short of it is that G4TV at one point in time was kind of quasi-respected by gamers back in the day when they were Tech TV, and they went off the air in 2013, I think it was. And people were somewhat excited when they said they're coming back, and immediately they make it political. The hosts make it political, and gamers, fans are turning on them, and we are hearing that there are some executives at NCBUniversal that are not happy with them.
Which is why last night, Neon posted this when he went and looked at Social Blade to find out what the numbers were, because we were hearing from people higher up that there was an issue. Yeah,
so that's actually what prompted this. I went out to, because we check Social Blade all the time, for numbers, and I heard this information that the NBC executives, some people there are not happy with how things are going down, and I went to see if the drama had helped their YouTube channel any, and G4TV, no, it hasn't. I mean, their views, if you look at this, I screen captured.
Okay, this is from last night.
It was like 17 hours. They were starting to lose subscribers on the YouTube side, but even then, for a channel that has almost 500,000 subs,
their viewership sucks.
This is terrible. Like, we get many times this per day, and we're a relatively small channel. So NBC has to be looking at this like, we invested how many millions of dollars into starting this up again, and this is it.
And they got rid of SyFy Fangrrls and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into it, because there is a precedent here that NBC has bet on the wrong horses, and they've regretted those decisions, and they've walked those decisions back. And I think G4 is going to be another casualty, because right now, with the streaming wars being the way that they are, they cannot afford to have another high-profile disaster like this.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 252,000 subs. Only half of G4TV, but we'll take it. It's just us. These guys have a fancy studio, and they got a crew, and like we see this all the time with like Nerdist and all these other like Hollywood nerd channels, and we do talk a little bit about gaming news, but in this case, we want to talk because the new G4 is supposedly going to be more of a pop culture thing.
I didn't even know it was gone this long. I mean, I remember it vaguely. I think most people don't even know what it was.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, we're talking, 8-9 years since it was on the air. It was better in the early to mid 2000s than the later incarnation of it. But
well, let's back up and explain to people who are unfamiliar with the situation, which apparently a lot of people are unfamiliar because they don't know what the hell G4 is. What exactly happened to set this whole thing off?
Okay, so it was announced last year, and I think we might have done a video on it.
I don't remember. You might have. I don't think I did.
Yeah, the G4 was going to come back. They were going to resurrect the brand. They were going to get some of the original hosts back. And we know how these things go current year. You always get this bastardized, zombified version of something, and they use nostalgia to lure you back in. And people were cautiously optimistic, though. They're like, with Kotaku and Polygon being super political now, it would be nice to have G4 come back and be normal and just be about gaming news. And, we're kind of looking forward to it. And you can kind of see that reflected, if you go out to their Social Blade in the numbers when they made the announcement, nothing, then boom. Oh, look, November, December, G4 is coming back, guys. Let's subscribe because we're excited. And
those peaks you probably can tie to like when there were announcements made or different things,
Yeah, we're going to come back. We're bringing G4 back.
Top of mind.
Top of mind. And they blew it. Long and short of it is they blew it. Like right out of the gate, the hosts.
Yeah, it was bad.
The hosts started attacking the fandoms. We had, let's see here. It's actually made the mainstream news. This is Tampa Dispatch. Now, nerd circles were talking about what a disaster it was for a couple of days now. and we wanted to look into it more because there were some tweets floating around saying that Adam Sessler was making fun of Total Biscuit's cancer, death, and also it turned out wasn't true. It was.
I don't know anything about any of this.
Yeah, somebody photoshopped it, and that's kind of what sent me down the rabbit hole last night.
All I know is that, what people have the clips and stuff on Twitter. And I was like, who the hell are these people? And then I was like, listening to what they were saying. Now, I mean, the kicker is, I think there are, like what she was saying, she was way overboard. A couple things what she said, you can kind of have a point and then completely deliver it in the wrong way possible. Because now it just sounds like she's jealous because no one wants to screw her.
Yeah.
That's how it comes across. I get what she's saying. I have been in the same position. Basically, she's getting mad because people are making comments, I think, that she's not as quote unquote bangable as the other host was.
Olivia Munn, I'm sure. Yeah.
And the people are making comments. Now, it's happened across different jobs I've had. It happens. A lot of women probably understand this. Thing is, like, I don't owe people pretty. I owe people like skill and my job and knowledge and things like that. I don't owe people pretty. That being said, I don't sit there and say, well, you're biased against me because I'm not as bangable as the person who worked here before me. And then she goes on about guys, and she does make the comment about, sometimes they make comments about getting off to people when they act like it's like, you should be honored. And it does get, as somebody who has a poll out there about me right now about whether or not people should, vote to rape me, it is not a flattering thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, anybody, male or female, having somebody come up to you and be like, you know what? I've been masturbating to you for years.
Way back before I even met you, I had guys send me unsolicited dick pics all the time and stuff like that. So this stuff does happen. Most men do not behave this way. I mean, this to me is like the internet equivalent of, I see you and I'm going to rev my truck engine really loud, like, but I'm just like, you have a tiny penis. I don't care.
You're the only one listening to you revving your engine.
Yeah, exactly.
If you gotta do that,
exactly. So, I mean, most men don't behave that way.
No.
But they're going to have some that do. And she has a point, I guess, loosely on some of these things. But then she presented it in such a shitty way, and then it became all about politics and bullshit.
It got weird.
And it was, even if you had a slight point, you completely overshadowed it with all the way it was presented.
Yeah, and this is what happens a lot of times with activist-minded hosts and journalists and whatever. There might be a kernel of truth.
Something must have happened to piss her off.
Yeah, to what you're saying, but the way you're presenting it, and especially when you're trying to get this thing off the ground, right out of the gate, attacking the audience, telling people not to watch if they don't like the content. Now, of course, she got all kinds of claps and during the segment. But the fallout on Twitter, anyway, was pretty severe from a lot of people. They're like, we just want a gaming channel. We don't want
Why was
politics.
This necessary?
And it didn't end with, Indiana Black here, saying what she said. It was the other host too, Adam Sessler, who used to be, a pretty normal-ish guy. I thought.
And this stuff goes on. You don't put it on your intro to your show. You maybe mention on Twitter or something. You don't.
Yeah.
Here's our first episode.
I keep thinking her name is Foreskin.
No, Frosk. I don't know.
G4 host calls fans sexist, and Adam Sessler continues attacks on Republicans.
Yeah, then it went from that. Yeah,
I used to watch this guy.
You're sexist for these reasons too. Republicans need to die, and they drink piss.
Oh my god!
I'm just like,
this is the most 2016 thing. Like, somebody needs to tell them. Polygon and Kotaku, I know you're taking a cue from their playbook. They're not doing well.
No.
Kotaku even had to pivot its content because they're not doing well.
Who was the one that was at Kotaku? One of them had the big statement where they had the new editor.
That was Kotaku.
With a statement. Yeah. We're actually going to play games and cover games.
Yeah.
And focus more on that. And we're like, you think?
Polygon widely mocked for its PS5 review. They were given a PS5 to review, and half of the review wound up being some anti-Trump rant.
One of them did a review and they were upset about. Oh, that was the Xbox. With
that
the
was
holes
the
in
Xbox
it? That
with
was
the
a
holes.
One.
Yeah. So it's like gaming journalism has become a joke. People are like, remember when we used to have G4TV and it actually was pretty decent, and we just used to watch people play games? We had Attack of the Show, and we had all this cool stuff. Yeah. So look, guys, current year, things come back from the Pet Sematary a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. And it's not going well. Again, this is a mainstream media outlet, Tampa Dispatch. talking about, and they talked about how Adam Sessler kicked off 2022 with a new post sharing his hatred of Republicans on Twitter. He said that they were basically piss drinking, worthless people.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. Okay, so that was on Twitter, but I know he didn't. Did he slam the Republicans in the video too, or just on Twitter?
On Twitter.
I didn't see anything other than her comments in the video.
Yeah,
People said that he was, making comments too.
Yeah, so this is on X-Play. It was a segment called "The Airing of Gaming Grievances," and she does talk a little bit about games before she goes into the rant.
But that's supposed to be about airing gaming grievances. Okay.
Yeah. She decided to use her time to focus on her frustration with some of the viewers' backlash over her not being as attractive as previous hosts Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb.
I got to tell you guys, I've been there. I've been literally in the situation where me and this other person were in the same situation, and everybody fell all over the other person to help them because they're so pretty, and then they oh, you got it. When it was, I kind of get it. I just don't think that the way she handled it was very well done, and it was kind of sexisty. I mean, it was sexisty the way she handled it. Let's be honest.
I think at this point in time, when I'm gonna take any and all emotion out of this, right? Because I tend to do that, unfortunately.
He does. That's why we fight a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this objectively from a business perspective.
Can you do that? Because I always put emotion in everything.
I'm gonna be like, we are trying to bring G4 back. We're trying to bring gamers to the platform, and you guys, in the course of like a day or two, have basically turned it into the televised version of Polygon. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is not going to go well. It's not going to end well. We're going to lose people. Like, we just wanted to talk about games.
I mean, I think something like that, if you're going to go that over the edge, and the way you're presenting it is going to chase off a lot of your audience, you probably either should not do it at all or should save it till after you're much more established than you are now. And then what was she one that was saying that we don't want you watching anyway or stuff like that? Yeah. I'm like, that's not smart. And from what we're hearing, NBC doesn't think it's smart either.
Yeah, that is what, is interesting about this, because we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about his so he
tweeted this.
He tweeted this. Yeah. Okay. But even if
he wished his family members would die?
Yeah. Here we go.
What the hell?
Just so I can get it out of my system once for the day. This is January 11th. Republicans are stupid, racist, and drink piss.
Well, I gotta
tell astronauts though.
But I gotta tell you though, here's the thing I found: extremists in general, and that includes people like him and the far left, are just as racist, if not more so, and they're intolerant, shitty people as well. I guess they eat shit. I don't know what to tell you.
Republicans, they only swing between white nationalism and Nazism. Like, this is like...
But they do know a lot of people that are Republican aren't white, right?
No, that does not compute.
They're not all male either. They know that, right?
No, that does not compute.
Okay.
Republicans are a terrorist organization. They're Nazis with no fashion designer helping them.
What?
Republicans are Nazis. They're cancer. Fuck them all.
No, thank you.
You do realize that some of the people kicking in some venture capital for this new version of G4 TV are probably Republicans. Republicans tend to have a lot of money.
Well, even beyond that, here's the thing: especially on Twitter, these people always tend to assume that those who don't agree with them on everything you're the dreaded Republican. And they label a lot of people who and they're, when they were getting mad, they're talking about extremism, and they label everyone with this broad brush, and it doesn't even really describe 99% of them.
Oh, this one's great. This is great. Not for me, as I said yesterday. This is right before Christmas, in 2020. As I said yesterday, all the Republicans in my family can eat shit and die while I sip something bubbly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. This whole article is just full of all the time he said something better Republicans. I get it.
Yeah, but it goes on and on and on and on. And again,
over the course of like 2 years.
Yeah, the course of like 2 years. So, I mean, some of the stuff's cherry picked, and I get, people can have their opinions, whatever.
I just think that you can have a point, but you completely obliterate your point by acting like an asshat.
People just want a gaming network. They just want gaming news.
That's right. They don't want you to tell them they're shitty people.
I mean, they should have. And so this is turned into quite the clusterfuck.
So she's the vag crown. If there's an ass hat, she's a vag crown.
So she confessed she doesn't play games while reading scripted reviews prepared by other people, and her coworkers do the same, but are not getting attacked like she is. Therefore, sexism. Scripted reviews. Why would you do? Well, I guess they have to.
She doesn't do it.
She doesn't play games while reading the scripted reviews. Yeah, so they'll show like the gameplay footage, I'm assuming, and then be like, "Here's a review of the game." Yeah, so I just this is not going to end well.
Well, here's the thing: no one's looking at the men wondering if they're what you call bangable or not.
Yeah,
because I mean, let's be honest: most of those men on the channel are not bangable. Maybe we women should start talking about how bangable they are just to make it fair. I know that guy's not bangable, that's for sure.
So let's talk about this because they're of course we've got the usual media outlets that you would expect, like Kotaku backing her up and all that. These websites are in trouble. I did a video this morning talking about BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed had a bunch of money pumped into it by NCBUniversal. Conveniently enough, NCBUniversal is also the company that is pumping a bunch of money into G4TV to try to resuscitate it. Now, this thing is sort of, out of place, out of time, because, we're talking about like bringing back a YouTube channel, a gaming YouTube channel.
I'm sorry. Former G4TV host Adam Sessler and Kevin, was it Pereira,
yeah.
revealed the emotionally nourishing journey. You know what's nourishing? Shit. Manure.
Yeah.
I guess because piss destroys. It's not nourishing at all, but manure is. They're shoveling a lot of it.
They're banking on nostalgia. You can never go home again. These people
They're banking on nostalgia, the making comments they're making?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're nostalgic for 2016.
Okay. Well, that's not long enough ago to be nostalgic.
They're nostalgic for Gamergate. They're
nostalgic for being relevant.
Pretty much. And I'm going to tell you right now, NCBUniversal is not going to have it because they lost a bunch of money on BuzzFeed. Okay. They also shut down SyFy Fangrrls. This is kind of similar to the sort of things that G4 is going to do. They're not just going to do video games. Apparently, they're going to do all of pop culture now and all of that, right? We already saw that people are jumping ship from their YouTube channels. But as far as this goes, like, they did not perform. They didn't bring the views. SyFy Fangrrls was the blog that was out there attacking anime, saying that people that liked anime were Nazis and all this other shit. And
could any people have anything to talk about if you took the word Nazi out of their vocabulary? Bust a hip. It's always funny to me that some of the people yelling about it the most act like it the most.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So they have no problem shutting this down. I also want to point out this TZG, was it TZGZ, their animated block? This is a sci-fi
thing. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Everybody did. This is the one that had
What happened to that?
Magical Girl Friendship Squad.
Yes.
Apparently, it's, as I understand it, basically defunct. There was some news.
Oh, imagine that.
2020, they talked about picking up some animated series, and then there was some other news that there were series that were in production that were canceled. I can tell you, back channel, that some of the people associated with this are no longer with NCBUniversal. They've actually moved on to other animation studios or other industries. So not this show in particular that I'm aware of, but the people that were decision makers over there. So I don't know what's going on, but I think it's basically like Universal, especially now with the streaming wars, like they are not going to waste money or throw good money after bad on something that's not going to work out. And as I understand it, they are really unhappy with the way things are going down with G4. I mean, right out of the fucking gate.
I mean, yeah, you're trying to get a comeback. I wouldn't start off by telling everybody that they watch that they're sexist and they don't want you watching their show. Yeah. And that you're half of you Republicans and you should die. I mean, probably not a good look the whole way around.
They're taking Attack of the Show to a whole nother level. It's Attack of the Show hosts.
But as you can see, go back to your post about their numbers. It's not working for them.
No, it is not working for them very well. Ooh.
Oh, it's worse.
God. This is X-Play. This is the right one? Holy shit. Our gaming channel that has been dormant for a while.
It only has 16,000 subs.
Only has 16,000 subs, gets more views than this in a day. Yeah, this is fucking sad. There's no other way to.
But they're claiming they're going up sub. They're claiming they have 1,000 subs on these days with that view count.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, good
sure,
luck
Jan.
Yeah, this is a disaster. G4 died in 2013. It died a couple of years before that. It is not coming back. This is a Pet Sematary version of it. It is time to move on. Gamers have moved on. Audiences have moved on. They've moved on from websites like Kotaku and Polygon. They've moved on from G4. They've outgrown you. You need to grow up and realize, yeah, it's not 2016 anymore. Just stop it. They just want gaming news. That's it.
Yeah, just you don't have to give your personal hot takes. I mean, there's things I think sometimes and I don't say it because I mean, one, it doesn't help the situation, and two, it's just going to chase people off, and you know, and three, sometimes it's just being PMSy, and I might change my mind in a week. So, you know, just, you know, stop telling people that they're calling everybody sexist. It's just not right. You know, get over it. Sorry, you're not bangable. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not either. Let's start a club.
I think you are. I think you are. All right. I'm gonna wrap this one up, I think, before I get myself in trouble. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.